Few athletes in UFC history have left a legacy as dominant yet as complicated as Jon Jones, a fighter whose brilliance inside the octagon is matched only by his controversies outside of it. But does that make him the greatest or the most polarizing champion in UFC history? Today, we are going to be deep diving Jon Jones' career, breaking down his dominance, his unmatched skill set, and the controversies that have defined his time in the UFC. To understand why Jon Jones is considered one of the greatest, you have to start at the beginning, where he entered MMA with a wrestling background, but it was his unorthodox style and creativity that set him apart very quickly. If you've ever watched Jon Jones, you know exactly what I'm talking about. It's the crawling in the cage, it's the elbows, it's the spins. At just 21 years old, Jon Jones made his UFC debut and quickly became a force in the light heavyweight division. In 2011, he made history by becoming the youngest UFC champion ever, defeating Mauricio Shogun Rua in a one-sided fight to claim the belt. 21 years old. This man just passed the legal age to drink, and he is winning a UFC champion. Like, that's insane to think about. When Jon Jones fights you, he doesn't just win, he dismantles you. He dismantled one of the most respected fighters in the sport, and it was very evident that Jon Jones wasn't just good, he was a generational talent. And once Jon Jones had the belt, he refused to let it go. He became a monster in defending this belt and went on a title run that has yet to be matched in UFC history, defending his title 8 times against some of the best the division had to offer. I mean, look at this title defense. We're talking about Rampage. We're talking about Lyoto Machida. We're talking about Rashad Evans. We're talking about Vitor Belfort. We're talking about Chael Sonnen. We're talking about Alexander Gustafsson. We're talking about Glover Teixeira, DC. I mean, what else can you ask for when you look at a GOAT type of fighter? Jon Jones has done it all. He's faced the legends of the sport and he's made it look easy. His versatility, from the strikes to elite level wrestling and grappling, made him impossible to beat, and not only beat, but to game plan. Because look, you want to outstrike Jon Jones? That's fine, he's going to let you do that. But then he's also going to take you down and choke you out. Oh, you want to choke him out? You want to take him down? Nah, he's going to catch you coming in on a left straight, on a side step pull, and he's going to drop you. It's not just the physical skills that Jon Jones has, it's the extraordinary fight IQ. And his ability to read and adjust mid-fight was and still is unlike anything we've ever seen. And the fact that he can mix it up so well between rounds is insane. One of the most talked about moments of his career was against Lyoto Machida, where Jon Jones became the first fighter to submit the Karate Master, putting him to sleep with a standing guillotine. And if you've never watched it, I implore you, please, after this video, go look up Jon Jones against Lyoto Machida, where this guillotine it's scary, man. It looks like he almost dies in Jon Jones' hands. And the way that Jon Jones talks about it, how it was beautiful and everything, just goes into some of the mental. When we talk about Jon Jones, he doesn't think about it as, oh, I need to fight, I needed this, I needed that. It's a craft, and it's something that he is just refining like a sword. He is sharpening it, and it's so beautiful to see when you break it down. While Jon Jones has had many dominant victories, a few stand out as defining moments. Most notably, his fight against Alexander Gustafsson at UFC 165, I think it was, is regarded as one of the greatest fights in UFC history, where it is a 5-round war. Gustafsson pushed Jones like no one has ever did before. I'm pretty sure he even took him down. And it's a fight that essentially started the humanization of Jon Jones. Everyone thought, oh, Jon Jones can't do this, he can't do that, no one can touch him. Gustafsson was like, all right, I see some holes and I'm starting to poke them. Yet again, Jon Jones still found a way to win. Then when you want to fast forward to the rivalry with Daniel Cormier, one of the most heated in MMA history, where they've met twice, Jon Jones has won them both. Even though the second victory was later overturned due to a failed drug test, Jon Jones absolutely dismantled DC, and he made him cry in the ring, or in the octagon. And I don't think anyone has ever done that to DC. Because it is such a heated rivalry, that's what brings it out. And Jon Jones knows that. He gets in your head. He's going to be confident, but yet also tell you, hey, you don't have a chance against me. And I give DC the respect of still fighting with the drug test. That is difficult even when you're in camp, but despite all the personal animosity, the rivalry brought out the best in both of them. And with Jones's head kick of DC, that solidified his dominance, even though he was marred by yet another controversy. What I mean is, while Jon Jones was unmatched in the octagon, his career outside of it was plagued by controversies. whether it's illegal troubles, whether it's a failed drug test. Jon Jones' legacy is about as much his actions outside the cage as inside. Jon Jones was stripped multiple times of his title and faced long periods of inactivity. His positive tests for PEDs tarnished what could have been an undisputed legacy as the greatest of all time. And while I still have him as the #1 fighter of all time, I still have him as the GOAT. I mean, fighter-wise, there's no one that is going to shine his shoes. There's no one that's going to take it over. Jon Jones, physically, mentally, fight IQ, like everything, he is the GOAT. And despite his setbacks, Jon Jones has always found a way back to the octagon. His comeback fights after suspensions, including victories over Thiago Santos and Dominic Reyes, were controversial, but ultimately added to his win column. Yes, many people believe Reyes did enough to dethrone Jones in their fight, I think it was UFC 247. However, Jon Jones' ability to edge out decisions speaks to his championship mindset, even when he's not at his best. And he's even said it too. He's like, I believe it was after the fight, he said, look, I had to do what I had to do to win the fight. I'm not gonna, go out my sword like that. I need to make sure I win. Now we stand at the spot where it could be the final chapter of Jon Jones' career. His long-awaited move to heavyweight, after years of dominating the light heavyweight division. Are we seeing him fighting Stipe? Look, if you ask me now, I would have loved to see this fight 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 years ago. I don't really want to see it. I think Jon Jones is going to dismantle him the way that he dismantled Ciryl Gane. I just don't think that it's going to do much. But when you look at Jon Jones' fighting style, it's insane. He's 6'4", 84.5-inch reach. Think about that. It's insane. And he's able to keep opponents at such a distance and picking them apart with strikes at angles they just cannot predict. His spinning elbows and oblique kicks have become his signature move, and his wrestling, developed from a strong background, has allowed him to dominate opponents on the ground as well. His oblique kicks can end a fighter's career. His elbows will send you to the nether realm. I mean, Jon Jones has perfected these, and I think it was, Bruce Lee that said, don't fear a man that practices 1,000 kicks once, fear the man that practices one kick 1,000 times. That's Jon Jones with elbows and oblique kicks. You don't want to get close to it, and I'm pretty sure that's how he cooked Thiago Santos' leg. Double check me on that, but I'm pretty sure. But back to Jon Jones' grappling. It's often overlooked, but it's world class. He's able to take down elite strikers, wrestlers, whomever on the mat, and then ground and pound for the submission to finish the fight. I mean, you don't know what you're going to get with him when he gets to the mat. When you look at Jon Jones in general, he's kind of a paradox. A fighter whose brilliance inside the octagon is overshadowed by the actions outside of it. And fans and other analysts alike have struggled to reconcile his greatness with his flaws. But had it not been for his personal struggles, Jon Jones could have and would have been the undisputed GOAT. Instead, his legacy is tainted, leaving many to wonder what could have been. But love him, hate him, Jon Jones is a fighter who will forever be a part of the UFC history. His dominance inside the octagon, paired with his fall from grace outside of it, makes him one of the most complex figures in sports. But the question still remains, will Jon Jones go down as the greatest fighter in UFC history, or will his controversies define him? One thing for certain is that his legacy will never be forgotten. So what do you guys think? Do you think Jon Jones is the GOAT? Do you think that all his legal actions and stuff outside, his PEDs, kind of tarnish that? Let us know in the comments. Don't forget to like, subscribe, hit the bell for more deep dives into MMA's greatest legends. And as always, it's been Studs.